Rivera took office as mayor of Lawrence earlier this year amidst a renewed sense of optimism that permeated the city. And why not? He is a proud product of the city's public schools. As a youth, he was a Boy Scout, later a U.S. Air Force Patrol cadet, and was the first in his family to go to college. He is now the mayor of Lawrence, aptly nicknamed the Immigrant City, because starting with the Irish in the 1840s, Lawrence has been home to numerous immigrant communities, and since the early 1970s has become home to a sizable Hispanic population, reaching almost, or actually over 75% of the population by 2010. This morning, Mayor Rivera joins us as he makes his first of what we hope, at least I hope, are many appearances here on Urban Update. Welcome to the show, and happy 4th of July weekend.
Happy 4th of July weekend.
So glad to have you. We've got you, Mayor Walsh, Seti Warren later, and Vice Mayor of Cambridge, Dennis Benson. You're in good company.
Absolutely. Anytime I get a chance to be around some of these great mayors, I appreciate it. You get to learn. You know, I'm the rookie mayor. I've only been on 6 months, so I'm really happy to be here.
You know what? But I want to get back to it. 6 months on the job, right?
6 months.
What kind of the stuff? And I'm going to get into your history a little bit. But what in these last 6 months have you kind of learned that you didn't expect to learn? Because I know you knew coming into the job there were things you were going to learn, but something you really didn't expect.
You know what? Like you go to mayor's camp when you first become mayor, like the one at Harvard, the one at UMass Boston, there's one at everyone. What you can expect, and I feel like we were not prepared to the amount of opportunity that's in front of us. Everybody's so nice. Everybody's like, oh, you gotta watch your back, you keep your friends close and your enemies close. Everybody's been like, how can we help Lawrence? And you know, for a community that we've been in battle for a very long time, you know, the poorest, one of the poorest communities in the Commonwealth, we have a state take over our schools. We have serious problems. So to say everybody's saying, hey, whatever you need, just ask us. And people have been nice, and then when you ask, usually sometimes people say, well, now that you've asked, we're not going to help you, but most people have actually been very helpful. So we thought we were going to have to battle. Everybody's been super happy.
Yeah. That's good. Now, for those, you're very well known in Lawrence and in many of the communities, but for our viewers, many have heard you, they're very excited that you were coming on the show. A little bit more about your personal history, because I find it, you know, the typical American story, especially with the Latino community, right? Your mom was from Dominican Republic?
Yeah, my mom's Dominican, my dad's Puerto Rican. I mean, I'm a Lawrence kid, man. I grew up in Lawrence, Lawrence Public Schools. I grew up in the projects in the city, you know, went to high school, and when I graduated, I didn't really was comfortable going to college, so I went to the Army, served in Desert Storm, you know, served my country when I came out, ended up being the manager of the public housing project that I grew up in, and worked there for a while, you know, and going nights and weekends, I got my my master's degree in business administration. Then I went to the private sector to try to earn a little money, and that made it actually possible for me to buy my first home and then put myself in a position to run for office and fix our community. So, you know, I really do feel like having been hired by the people to do this job, that I get an opportunity to do my boyhood dream, which is, you know, make our city better.
Yeah. Now, how do you plan to do that? It's a mouthful and it's a big job, but you know, slowly and surely, you've been implementing a lot of great partnerships I see and a lot of initiatives, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, a couple of things that we got to do right off the bat is the Fed, the Boston Fed, gave us a grant of $750,000 to connect families in the school system with better workforce development opportunities. So we're going to do this 3-year grant. We had a chance to save, so for a young family in one of our poor communities on Park Street can walk down to the Workforce Investment Board. Instead of doing that, she's going to go sign up her kid for school, and at the same time, hey, here are some workforce development opportunities for you. And in a real way, that's going to connect folks to better jobs and better opportunity. Something else that we did really quick was we added a bus route. So in Lawrence, you can take a bus from Lawrence to Haverhill, Lawrence to Andover, North Andover. You can take a bus leaving the city anywhere you want, Lowell. But you couldn't take a bus from Essex Street to Broadway, which are connected downtown streets. We're like, this is crazy. So we have a bus route today. It's Route 85, costs $1 if you use the Charlie card, and you can get all around the downtown. It's awesome and brings people from the core.
Yeah. I saw that. That was the big news this week, and I saw you riding that inaugural ride. But that's good news for the small businesses, and I think that you've been able to really renew a sense of optimism for the small businesses, which really primarily they're a lot Latino, and you know them on a first name basis.
No, and honestly, they really held the city together during the worst times. So if you can imagine that during the Great Recessions, during all the problem times that the United States had, Latino small business owners and small business owners in Lawrence, they stuck by us. So we have to do these things. So partly is you do get people around the community. They don't have to walk as much because we're a walking community. We're 6.7 square miles. But more importantly, you get people buy these businesses that have been like, you know, foreign to other people outside their neighborhoods. And they really loved it. We stopped at Hidalgo Accesorios, and we stopped at a bunch of places that had never been seen. The other thing that came out of it was like all these pharmacies and like basic services that are around the route that our elderly needed.
Right.
So now the elderly are getting access to more services.
And I think it's only like 60 cents or something for
an elderly 60 cents. And if they use a Charlie car, it's 50 cents.
50 cents. So it's a great thing. It's one of these common sense things that, you know, hadn't been implemented.
Yeah. For the generation, there hadn't been a downtown shuttle. So we got that down quick. It was pretty good.
Yeah. I see it, like I said, you can feel the new renown and renewed sense of energy in the city. And tell me a little about your staff, because you've got a real good, hardworking staff. That Kate Riley, let me tell you.
She's good people. Honestly, it's weird because I'm the only one that ever worked in government before. Yeah. So everybody else is like either from the nonprofit sector, from the private sector, from the healthcare sector. They don't know the boundaries that government has. So that's a good thing. The bad thing is sometimes you bump into those boundaries and you don't know how to act. But we're very fortunate. Everybody's really excited to be there, and it helps us think outside the box. You represent a generation of new leadership, bilingual, bicultural, but there is a Greater Lawrence professional network, right? Glippin,
yeah. Right? You're
crazy.
A big fan of them, right?
Honestly, I mean, for the longest time, people talk about, man, if we could keep some of these kids that graduate from college to come back and invest in our community. And my generation thought we could do it. We didn't really do it. I mean, kids that went to Harvard, they went to Stanford, they just left. But now with Glippin, what they're doing is they're giving people a place to come and meet. And I have a theory that if you don't catch these, if you graduate from high school, you go to 4-year college and you come back to Lawrence, and I got 2 years to keep you. If I don't get you in 2 years, committed, dedicated, involved, you're going to leave, because there's more to do in other places for you with a degree like that. And, you know, especially all these handsome Latino men and women, and they like go out to those places and they get wooed by good companies in Boston and New York and Miami. We got to keep them.
I love your initiative. Viva Lawrence, right?
Absolutely.
Keep it up. Viva Lawrence.
Because, you know, with Viva Lawrence is this thing that we got, all this great positive attention that the city's getting. So we're not used to all that. You know, people have been talking bad about us. So when we get positive attention, we love it. Viva Lawrence. Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
All right.